Aloha, this is Matt Darnell with ComTel.Cloud, like up in the sky. Joined, as always, by Greg Jackson. How's it going, Greg?
Hey, how's it?
The New Year's treating you all right?
It's been good. Yeah, it's been real good.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So this is Weekly Tech Wrap Up. We have seven stories here that we find interesting, that we think you are going to find interesting. We only spend 2 minutes on each story, so this goes through really quick. So let's go ahead and get started with our countdown here. Number one is nuclear. So this company Constellation is got a billion-dollar deal to supply the U.S. government with nuclear power. And this is through the GSA. Um, and it looks like 80 federal facilities located there, and 65 million people, could possibly
Wow.
benefit from this. I know you're a huge believer in nuclear, as am I. As much as great as renewable energy is, the sun doesn't always shine. Batteries are really expensive. Nuclear, I think is part of a complete solution.
Yeah, yeah. I personally think that if we can control it, I think it's more of a, policy restriction. It's got to be heavily regulated just because we've seen so many things, go poorly. But the amount of energy we could produce is phenomenal.
Oh, it's literally off the scale, And the amazing part is that the worst possible thing, in my mind, in the future with this is going to be terrorism, with all the drones and how they're able to do things. So that anti-terrorism is going to have to be a huge part of any nuclear, any kind of setup there. But the potential for the amount of energy and, electricity, in AC form, really high voltage can go hundreds of miles. So I could see them putting these in the middle of nowhere and just setting the energy out. So nuclear here, I'm glad the government is moving forward. Somebody has to go ahead and take the plunge. And this is it's our money, but I think it's well spent. So this
Well,
year,
let me ask you something. This brings up a kind of a joke that I have for you
oh, go ahead.
regarding the nuclear stuff.
Yeah.
Just to lighten things up a little bit. Why don't nuclear physicists ever get lost?
Why don't they get lost? Why don't they get lost?
Because they follow the chain reaction.
Follow the chain.
Oh, come on.
Uh,
That was a good one.
you can explain that one to me later. All right. So we need to start screening your jokes here. All right. So Seagate is announcing a 32 terabyte hard drive here. It's using all different heat assisted magnetic recording, all these different technologies. But I'm wondering, is that too big for spinning media? I know you're around servers as much as I do. And when, there are charts that tell you, how long it takes to rebuild a RAID array. So if I had RAID 5, which has a one parity drive, if if I had a good amount of data on these drives, let's say it's long-term storage for pictures or videos, and one drive dies, I put another drive in there, it can be a week to
Yeah.
rebuild the RAID, and you're hoping another drive doesn't die because then you're out of it. I mean, have you ever had to have a long rebuild?
I've had to use a lot of paper towels because I was sweating, hoping that the other drive wasn't going to die. I even thought if I just turn it off and wait, maybe that'll do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've sweated that. That's why I do RAID 6 now. So
Yeah, so I mean, and you have the two parity drives that does make it better. But yeah, at some point, it's just the odds of another drive failing before it rebuilds is going to be more, and you just can't get any bigger, to have that there. Too much at risk. Okay. Hey, human. I don't know if you've seen these on Facebook, but there are these different, like this one called Shara ChefBot 9000 that, if you like a lot bunch of pictures with your friends with cookies in it or bread, or they make their own beer, you'll start seeing AI people, bots, and it'll be winemaking or bread making or cooking, whatever you like. Or this talks about pineapple pizza. You can have that there. And to me, that's the worst thing Facebook could do. The one thing they have that no other platform has are the humans. And that's why I go to Facebook. If I just want to, see a pizza recipe, I go to ChatGPT, and see that there. So, I mean, do you have any opinion on that?
I think, the people that are on Facebook regularly probably want interaction where they're not getting it. So they're probably not like Chat GPT users. They probably want to feel as if they're interacting with somebody, like somebody instructing them. I think it's a good segue for Facebook to get into because this is probably the precursor to them actually having support models with all the AI. So this is their kind of their let's test people, let's see if we can get them to accept the AI experience. And this is, I think it's going to be very interesting to see this, how this morphs.
Yeah, and if this does happen, where every other feed is just some AI picture or, a robot, even I don't like it when they just use a text to speech and you can tell I want to hear human. I want to interact with humans. Maybe that's my age showing, but this would turn me off of Facebook if all of a sudden, these are not people that I have a relationship with, have that there. Okay, so the reason I call this tariff is these big companies, if you look down here, Volkswagen, Rivian, the Nissan Leaf, they no longer qualify for a $7,500 tax credit. And when we were talking earlier, I didn't know that Rivian was an American company. Only
Yeah.
company that I knew that was American. So what did you find out? Why Rivian, an American company, got this taken away?
So apparently it's the batteries, there are certain materials that the government doesn't want to be as part of the battery components. So they've got so much time, these electric manufacturers, um, they have so much time to actually get rid of or to minimize their usage of some of these materials. So that's why they haven't met the deadline. So I think they'll probably make the list again. But until then, they're going to be off the list until they can get their parts or components
Yeah, because it
down.
says battery components hailing from any foreign entity of concern. I've never heard of
Yeah.
that term before, but it's interesting because Tesla and Chevrolet are Chevy are they still a U.S. company? I don't like I don't even know anymore. Like Volkswagen
Yeah.
owns so many.
China owns Volvo. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hello. Tesla, is a US, but Kia and Hyundai, they're from,
Korean.
they're
Yeah.
Korean. So I would imagine Rivian's doing all they can because my goodness, $7,500 when you figure a car mid-range, EV is going to be
Rivian's
fit.
about 70K. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's 10% tacked
Yep.
right on the top there. So I'm sure they're doing all they can do to kind of get off of this foreign entity of concern. All right, net neutrality. People used to talk about this all the time. In my opinion, uh, ISPs, whoever you use, Comcast, Spectrum, your local phone company, cable company, they wanted to sell packages for internet kind of like they do for TV, where everybody gets CNN, Fox News, whatever. You want ESPN Plus, that website? Oh, you got to pay a little extra money for that. Oh, you want the sports package, so you can go to, the sports sites on the web. Luckily, that never came into fruition. But what do you think about net neutrality, so that all traffic is equal on the net?
I think net neutrality started when ISPs, I'm a little old, so there was a time when there was sharing. And you probably remember a company called Napster. So what would happen is a lot of these ISPs were trying to supply an experience to the end user, and what they would use would be traffic shaping tools. Now they're called quality of experience tools that shape the traffic in order to. So before it was, let's save bandwidth for the people that we want to sell to because we've got one out of 1,000 people just hogging up all the bandwidth. Nowadays, I think they're applying it in reverse, which means how can we make money off of it? So I'm a big fan of let me go where I want to go, unless it's in a if it's chewing up your bandwidth, I understand it.
Hmm. Okay. And we got our junior engineer just dropped in for a second. But but the hard part about that is how much you have to pay, and is that the
Yeah.
new cost? And I've always wondered, you always hear the rumors that when you go to speedtest.net, that it gets juiced up. You get high priority for any speedfast.com, any speed test site, they speed up your traffic for that. I want to know what the truth is. Okay, AI fridge. Um, and it's funny. It says never let you run out of food. We were just talking about. I went to Sam's Club the other day. You heard that where Costco was out of eggs as well. There's no eggs.
In Vegas.
Oh,
Yeah.
and okay,
Yeah.
they're out of chickens are on strike. I don't know, for that, but yeah, they're out of eggs. So it's not going to solve all your problems. And when I was not growing up, but in the 2000s, it was going to be the kind of thing where your fridge would tell your watch you're low on milk. You get into your car, your watch tells your car you're low on milk. And as you're driving by all these stores, your car is going to be interrogating all of the stores to figure out who's got the best price on milk. And obviously now the fridge can talk directly for that and even order it through Uber Eats or any of the other things. Oh, we're low on milk. Let's go ahead and do that. It's not like you have to put it on a certain place where it gets weighed. It could tell when the weight gets so low. With cameras and AI, they can look and see when your milk is low. And I mean, you had
Yeah.
some other ideas from other AI appliances.
There's a large community of elderly people that leave the stove on. And sometimes it'd be nice to be able to just tell one of your, voice activated devices. I can't say her name because she's sitting right next to me. And just let them know that you want to turn the heat down on the oven or, cut it off a little bit short. But also to be able to turn off one of the burners if the burner doesn't have anything on it. It'd be nice to be able to just ask the question, hey, you look like you were cooking and you left. You want me to turn off the burner for you?
And I have done that. You just take your pot off and come back 10 minutes later. Oh,
Yep.
I did that. Yeah. And actually have a camera looking at it. Know when to turn turn the heat up, turn the heat down, have that.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. So this is, again, all these links are down there in the description. So you can't quite hear the sound, but this is a gentleman who was in a Waymo, and you'll notice it if you actually watch the video there here on LinkedIn, it's just going around in circles and circles and circles. And he's talking to support, and support wants him to use his app. That's that's kind of scary, to
Yeah.
have that kind of automation. Now, I've never heard of that happening before, and I hope it never ever happens again. But have you ever been in an autonomous car?
Nope. I got to tell you, as interesting and as techie as I am, it's I'm gonna wait.
Exactly. Autonomous airplanes, helicopters. I want to go on an autonomous skateboard where you can just jump off. Yeah, it's scary. So it's the future. It's absolutely the future. But the Tesla ones don't even have a steering wheel. There's no controls there, So I don't know what options he had, but yeah, that was kind of crazy. So again, this is Matt Darnell and Greg Jackson, and hope you enjoyed Tech Weekly here, the wrap up. All the links that we talked about here, they're right down there in the description. If you have a comment, you think we were wrong about something, I mean, we're never wrong, but if you think we're wrong, definitely leave that in the comments and we'll get right back at you. Have a great day. Aloha.
Aloha.